Good morning, students. We are in week 3 of compensation management and reward system. What did we learn in the last class? We learned about, we were in module 2 in the last week. So we learned about compensation management and different methods of wage payment as well as national wage policy in India, how it is at the organization level. So in this week, that is week 3, we will be reading about different wage problems in India and legal issues regarding compensation management and components of compensation management as well as different institutions which are framed for fixing wages in our country. And we'll be starting with module 3 regarding the reward policy, pay reviews, and the strategy of the management in this week. So let us move on one by one topic. So let us go to wage problems in India. See, when it comes to our country, as you all know, even if we frame any of the policy for that matter, unless and until it is implemented in an effective way, so it will be a framed policy only. So here again, the wage policies or regulations related to wages, it the implementation of that, it's still in the starting stage. That is, it is very poorly implemented across industries and across markets. And again, we have heard about this way the Factories Act or the Wages Act, Minimum Wage Act. Though this act empowers the government, either it might be state government or central government for that matter, to fix minimum wages for workers across industries, and again in unorganized sector, but it is not being implemented as it has been stated. And again, some of the industries are they are exempted from paying the taxes also. See, for example, for what all needs we need wages. See, in this diagram you can just see for basic needs, that is for housing, food, shelter, or essential needs, or any a small kind of savings kind of thing to face any of the unseen or unexpected situations. For example, see, this pandemic, who knew that we'll be suffering from this pandemic? So what happened? Many of them lost their jobs, even if it is managerial jobs or the laborer jobs. So the when you are empty handed, what you look for? The savings which you have made, so that you can lead at least a basic life. So this is quite a good example, because see, this pandemic, it taught us how to lead a reasonable life, especially in 2021 era. So again, let us move on. Here again, in this wages, as we have already seen, we can categorize it into three kinds of wages. That is living wage, minimum wage, and basic wage. So living wages, it is the wage which is required for the worker to meet their basic needs. And this includes again food, housing, shelter, and clothing as well. So what it does, see, an employee should have a standard living because he is employed. So this ensures, the living wage ensures this. And again, what are the minimum wages? So it again includes the food, clothing, that is the basic needs, as well as the extra essential needs which might be required by the employer. So now let us see. There are many norms for fixing minimum wages. So what are those? The Minimum Wages Act, though it doesn't specify that, see, for so and so industries or so and so region or so and so levels of employees working at that particular level, it doesn't specify these many the number of the amount of money which is which should be given to the laborers. So the Supreme Court here, what it suggested, it has suggested for per day, for example, 8 hours if the laborer works, so how much he should pay, or weekly basis if they are paying, how much they should be paid, irrespective of the quality of work that is being given by them. And it also states that an employee or a laborer, it might be contract laborer, construction laborer, any kind of minimum you know minimal level of laborer, he at least he should be able to support his family, that is his wife, one or two kids, and himself, for meeting up basic amenities of life, that is food, clothing and shelter. So he should be able to carry out those or fulfill those basic needs. So he should be paid that much according to the market changes or the changes which is happening in the country regarding the prices of the commodities. And again, see, as we can see in this, the when you are implementing this wage policy, there are some of the areas or concerns which have to be taken care of. See, as I have told you, we have minimum wage which looks into the an employee, he should take care of his family uh, in a basic way, in a very average way. And again, the implementation of this or the enforcement of this is very bad in our country. So what are all the reasons for that? First is that there is no proper norms, as we have seen. And also there is an issue which leads to coverage. That is, see, in the act, the they have specified it region wise or industry wise or the market wise. I mean the amount of wages to be paid for the employees or for the laborers, right? So here again, they might not have included all these peers of or all the working levels of the employment in the act, right? So again, here in the coverage, it's like the acts or the formulations which have been made, it doesn't cover the entire circle of the employment. So what happens in that case? The employer will have all the rights to fix his own wages, because he might be aware of the policies which might be framed for some particular kind of jobs. And if the jobs are not mandated by the government, then what he does, see, nobody has written anywhere that this kind of menial job should be paid so and so. So it be his entire, he'll be having his own freedom to fix the wages for that particular jobs. So this coverage means the same. And implementation. Let us move on to the next one, that is implementation. This is also one of the major issues in the wage policies or regulations which is being formulated in the country. So, what do you mean by implementation? See, you have this Minimum Wages Act, you have the Factories Act, or you have the act wherein it states that the a person who goes for this laborer kind of employment, he should be at least a major, right? So what it says, this act, whatever is being formed, it again it helps the government to fix minimum wage for workers in unorganized sectors. It might be state government or the central government. And again, exceptions will be made by the industries or organizations, or exceptions will be given to the industries wherein sometimes they skip paying the wages, right? And again, and there'll be wage levels will be fixed, in the sense the employees who are at the entry level, or who have these many years of experience, or who are working in that particular area. So again, the wage levels differ as per the skills or the work being done by the employees, or the qualification, or the region where they are staying. And again, see, these wage policies, what they are, it's like every now and then, and it means every for every 5 years you need to change, or you need to at least modify, because there'll be changes in the market conditions or the industries, or there'll be changes in the commodity price of the commodities, right? So again, this wage policies also should be regularly modified, that is for once in at least every 5 years, so that there'll be not much difference between the implementation of the wages and the market conditions and the amount being paid to the workers, so that at least they can lead a basic life wherein they'll be able to cover up the food, clothing, and shelter issues, right? So this implementation is been very much pathetic in our country. Why? Because see, the industries are not ready to pay as per the norms or as per the wages which is being set by the state government or the central government, right? So in that case, what happens? they it again depends upon the employers or the organization to follow the minimum wages which is being fixed by the government, particular government. And also for our unorganized sectors, it is like the employers are at their own mercy of paying the laborers, right? And also the act in doesn't state anywhere that the employers should must and should follow this. They have just given the policies, and unless and until there is an opposition from the labor union to the employers, it is like the employers will have the entire freedom to give the or fix the wages for that particular region, right? And also enforcement. What is this enforcement? See, because see, as I told you, the employers will not be aware, okay, for the work they are doing. The government has specified or fixed this much of amount. We need to ask for that much of amount. No, they won't be in a position to bargain with the employers. Neither the labor union will not be responsible for that. So, in these scenarios, what happens? The employers, how much ever they have fixed, they will be giving the same to the wage laborers, right? So, who will be at loss? The laborers at the end. But what if the labor union goes and cross check it with the policies made by the government and cross check it with the company documents? So what happens at that time? They will be ready to ask, the documents of the proof wherein it states that these much of amount is should be paid to the laborers, right? So in that case, the employers what they do, whatever has been fixed, they will be ready to pay for the same. And again, see, there is still a need in our country. There is still a need to frame a proper minimum wage policy because see, as we have seen, we have different acts for the same minimum wages act, a labor act, a factories act, everything. One each and every act is like it is like given contradictory statements. Like they don't have a common policy or common structure wherein they can say that okay, fine. See, for this particular industry across the country, whatever the region or whatever the state it is, if it is employing minimum of these many employees or if the minimum qualification of the employees is so and so, or the skills possessed by the employees and so and so, then they must be paid so much of amount. No, they haven't fixed it in general, okay? So their initial, so what is required is there should be a proper policy. First of all, we need that, and it should be mandated by the government so that the factories or industries or the employers should follow it pin to pin, right? And again, the wage policies, whatever been set up for the organized and unorganized sector, what happens is it is basically based to help the employers to provide the basic necessities of life for their family. And again, see in the compensation which is being extra provided to the laborers, it helps them to do productivity work, or the incentives given to the workers, it helps them to uh, perform well in their whatever job they are doing, right? Let us move on to the objective which is being considered before fixing the wages. What are the different objectives? One is the social objective, next is the economic objective. So, what is social objective in the sense? See, you have a construction laborer, okay, and again, what you do, you are paying him just to maintain his basic needs and of his family, right? So what happens with this? He will be daily earning it, or he in weekly manner he'll be getting the wages, so that he will be able to just cover up these basic needs of himself and his family. So what happens? Again, see, in order to maintain this social status, what the employers do, a bit of incentives or compensation so that the employees feel secure in the society. And economic objective. So what does that mean? See, it's like what it states is for every state or region, and as per the levels, the minimum wage should be fixed so that economically the society will be improved, and the employers, they might get motivated if their economic status is improved as well. Okay, so what happens, see, for all these things, there is a body which is responsible to fix it up, that is Central Pay Commission. And again, it is also one of the responsible, what they can say, coordinators, or who are who come into picture in while framing the wages for the both organized and unorganized sector. And again, when they are due for promotion, or they are to be given some incentives, again there are some clauses for which they can take the incentives. And also there are many social security schemes which helps the laborers, if in case the laborer or the one of the family members, if they are hospitalized, it helps the laborers to carry out the operations, or carry out the process, or the hospital process very smoothly. And again, the maternity benefits, or if they are any disabled person, the benefits which is being given to the disabled persons. So all these things helps the employees to improve their morality, or improve their loyalty to the organization. As you can see in the slide, there was a statement which was given by Mohandas Pai, who states that India is not producing good jobs, but they are producing low paid jobs. And again, a high degree people, they are doing the low wage jobs. Yeah. So it is like what he suggests was to follow any of the models which has been done by the developed countries, so that even we can be both productive as well as satisfied job environment should be there for the workers and the organization, right? So again here, see, many unions, that is labor unions, trade unions, and NGOs, they come into picture. Why? Because see, through these NGOs, there are much more chances of, the concerns of the employers reaching the employers, right? So the employees, if they are not able to solve it by themselves, what they do? They approach the NGOs, wherein the NGOs help in resolving the issues of the employees. This happens especially in the unorganized sector. Fine. So now let us move on to the legal issues of the compensation management. So see, coming to legal issues, what are the different legal issues which can be shown here? See, when you go for legal issues, see, for example, we'll take an example of employer as well as the employee. So what happens when an employer has promised to pay employee the fixed amount, or whatever the amount which has been fixed, and what once the employee joins the organization, if he is not getting the proper amount which is fixed by the employer, what happens then? They call it as cheating, right? Yeah. So if he's not able to pay, what happens? The employee sometimes he might get back to the employer asking, see, I'm not being paid much as per the policies which was given by you. So what happens at that stage? He should at least approach that uh, employer, or the labor unions should approach the employer. So if in case it happens, then what happens? He will be paid according to his skill or his knowledge level, right? Yeah. So it's like there are various legal issues, as I told you, or as we saw. So other issues concerned with, see, even if the employee is worth or capable, or even while giving him the letter, selection letter, or offer letter for that matter, if the wages are subscribed, and if he's not getting the same amount of wages, then he can go to the manager at any point of time, but he should have proof for that, telling her, see, this much was offered to me, and but this is not being paid to me at the end of the week. So what happens is, there should be a proper channel through which the employees will be able to reach the employers, right? So these are the issues which might happen in the management regarding this compensation. So what, for whatever reason it is, the employees, if they raise the voice, or if the employers get to know that the employees are aware of the policies existing, then probably there will be less chances of the employers to make sure that employees will be paid as per the stated amount, right? Let us move on to base of compensation management. See, compensation management consists of organization goals, employee communication, rewards and recognitions, as well as acknowledgements and simply measures. So what are all these? Let us move in detail. So organization goals, see, every organization or the industry for that matter, what it does, they'll have their own goals or objectives. That is, probably in another 2 3 years, reaching up to this much clientele, or reaching up to this much productivity level, or else reaching up to so much of employee ratios, all these. So the goals and objectives of the company, it has to be met by the employees itself, right? Because employees are the ones who take care of the process or working of the organizations. So the goals or objectives has to be it has to be made aware to the employees working in the organization, so that the employer can make sure the employees will try to reach that objective or goal set by the organization as a whole. And employee communication, see, what happens is, in many companies, that also in unorganized sector, there will be less communication between the employer and the employee, and as well as there'll be chances of this employee shifting somewhere, or employees getting married, so she'll stop working, or employee suffering from any health issues, so she won't be able to continue back to the organization, right? So whatever it is, there should be a proper communication between the employer and the employee, right? So if that is done, what happens, there the chances of doing a mistake, it will be reduced. And again, coming to timely acknowledgements. See, again here, the acknowledgement can be given by employer to employee, or else it can be from employee side to employer. How is it? See, if an employee does a very good job, and the employer has to appreciate him, right? Has to recognize him. And again, if the employer is doing a very good job, then employee can, he can give a positive impact of the organization outside, right? So this, in again, it indirectly it helps for the organization to grow. So again, timely acknowledgement also consists of giving the employees, a kind of feeling of they belong to this organization, or even their worth is important for this organization. And coming to simple measures, like they have to follow this measures, safety measures, or they have to follow the rules and regulations of the company, which is done by the higher authority, so that to make sure that they will not be put into some gray area, wherein they'll be told that, see, you did so and so mistake, or you couldn't come to your productivity level, or you couldn't do proper work justice to your work. So there will be less chances of them getting removed. And let us move on to the next topic, compensation administration. So guys, what is compensation administration? See, we learned about compensation, compensation management, compensation strategy, compensation philosophy, compensation policy. Now, what is compensation administration? The administration is nothing but you're administering, or you're making sure. You stand there, you make sure the work is done. That is the work of an administrator, right? Yeah. And also, he will have all the powers to resolve any of the issues or concerns which is being raised by the students. Okay. And again, this compensation administration is segment of management or human resource management, which mainly focuses on planning, organizing, and controlling the direct and indirect payments which is made to the employees. Right. So we can call this compensation administration also as a management tool, which is basically used by HR team in order to find out the wages so that the employee's productivity or employee's worthiness will be proved. And it has to fulfill the objective of both the employers and the employees. So let us move on to different systems or institutions which fixes wages in our country. So the first thing is wage board. What does this wage board do? See here, they would have set up different wage boards either at the state level or the regional level or at the national level. So what do they do? And they'll be set up in a irregular way. It's not like this particular area, this particular state. So these many employees are there, or in this area they are there. So they'll be set up in the ad hoc basis, and again it will be set up on the based on the demands which is done by the labor unions, and also depending upon the employees or the number of employees or the attitudes of the employees. So what does that mean? See here, the employees, if in a region, if a company has less number of employees, so what is the use of creating a wage board over there? So wage board can be constituted in the regions where you have n number of employees. So again, it consists of a chairman and two independent members and two or three representative workers and employers each. So what happens? So in place of representative workers, labor union people can go. The particular team or particular department head can go. And also there are chances of government accepting or rejecting the recommendations which is given by the managers, right? So again, once the policies are accepted, then the the regular the bodies should execute those policies, right? And again, while when before determining the wages, the wage board should take in consider these following factors, that is the various wage legislations which has already been existing, or if it is modified, what are all the modifications which is done to it. And again, it also should analyze about the income level and the distribution of the income, and also place of industry in the economy and needs for industry in a developing economy, as well as the requirements of social justice. So before considering the wage policy, the wage board should take into account all these factors, right? And let us move on to pay commission. So what are these pay commissions exactly? See, now you know about wages and salaries. So the allowance of these at central and state government level, it's like it can be determined by proper pay commission. Again, is also one of the institutions. So through pay commission at the head, what happens is, see, if there are any disputes which occurs between any two persons inside the uh, organization, what it has to be done, it has to be directly sent to the grievance cell if there are any grievance cell, or if it has to be directly sent to the HR manager, right, in order to solve the issues or concerns of the employees. And we'll be doing a case study at the end of this model, because at the end of each and every model there is case study which has been specified. So now let us move on to module 3. So what is there in the module 3? In this you will be learning about the strategy of the management and then the pay reviews. So let us move on to management strategy. See here, what happens is, see, when you want to fix some kind of wages, or when you want to you know a kind of formulate policies wherein everyone should be equally treated, or which helps everyone to boost their moral or boost their loyalty. So what happens at that time? So at that time, the strategies which has been implemented by the organization, it comes into effect. So these management strategies are again formed by the HR department or the concerned head of that particular department, right? And then its basic idea is to motivate the staff. Now, once if it is he is most motivated, that is the employee will be motivated. It makes them to perform better, or it makes them to call someone else into the company so they can expand the man force which is over there. And as in the diagram which you can see, for fulfilling basic amenities, what all should the employers must do? See, as we have learned already, there should be a proper compensation or reward strategy wherein the organization will be, it will have a feasible environment to make the employees happy. So, what all it consists of? Benefits, payment, and also there should be positive working environment in the organizations or at the department level, and also it should cater to the personal growth of the employees, right? So, what is a reward policy? Next, when you go on to reward policy, see, who all have got this reward policy? See, rewards is nothing but kind of non-monetary recognition which is being given to the employees for the work they do. So it might be salary wise, or maybe any exchange programs, or growth opportunities, or else the channels wherein the employees will have a chance to increase their skills. So all these also combinedly affect the policies, basically framed for the betterment of the employees. A good reward and recognition program should be significant, flexible. There should be personal touch over there, and it should be timely, or it should be modified time and again as and when the market condition changes, right? So now let us move on to monetary reward policies as well as non-monetary reward policies. So what exactly is that? The monetary reward policies, in the sense, they will be directly rewarding or giving recognition to the service or the work you do through monetary values. That is either through cash or direct salary crediting or wages crediting. Yeah, or else they might give pay hikes or bonus or allowances, different kinds of allowances, travel, meal allocation, house allocation, and this extra amount, the employees will feel that they will be kind of motivated, or they will have that into for doing much more services, much more work for the organization, right? Huh. So again, non-monetary reward policies, what it is? So it is again a reward system which is which gives incentives to the employees, again based on the performance. So it is like, but not in the cash form. So it might be any other benefits or compensation which can be included into this non-monetary reward policies also. And let us move on to this pay reviews. So what exactly is this pay review? See, the company or the organization or the employer, what he does, he gives the pay or wages to the employees. So in that case, um, pay review, what it does, it helps to increase salary and pay bonus or variables, which are a part of this pay structure. And also it is a transparent way of letting everyone know that, see, in our company for this kind of level, only this much is being given, right? And again, this salary review, it's again a basic evaluation process, and you have steps for that evaluation process also. So it is like, the employees salaries, they reflect their work performance, how well. If he performs very well, then his salary will also be good as and when he performs, right? So that's how the employee should be motivated, rather than keeping them in the campus or keeping them in the organization for more than stipulated time, makes them unproductive sometimes. So these are all which we have covered in this week 3. So let us move on to the other subjects in the next week. Thank you, class.